Hey, it's Matthew Cudmore with Story Behind the Stone, a podcast where we talk about service, sacrifice, and story. Today's episode with Rich Darby, founder and president of Operation Honor Guard. Their mission is to outfit every honor guard in the United States. There are over 10,000. Most of them are volunteers, and the average age is over 75. Rich started from the grassroots level in central Illinois, literally raising money on the street corner to fund this mission, and now it has gone national. The ripple effects across veterans' families is truly inspiring. The scale is immense. Thank you for joining the conversation today, and thank you for tuning in. Welcome to Story Behind the Stone, a show where you talk service, sacrifice, and story, connecting you with the individuals and organizations making massive impact in veterans' causes and commemoration. I'm joined today by founder and president of Operation Honor Guard, Rich Darby. Rich, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
It is inspiring what you're doing. We'd love to just give some context to our audience on what Operation Honor Guard is and who you are and how you had that initial spark for the idea.
Sure. Operation Honor Guard is a 501c3 nonprofit, and we exist, number one, to financially support the veteran service organization Honor Guards. The second reason we exist is that we want to be the voice and heighten the awareness to the public of the role and the sacrifice that these Honor Guard members make each and every day. The third point that we'd like to stress is that we want to make sure that we help recruit young Honor Guard members. As our Honor Guard members are aging, we need to get others to take their place. And the fourth reason we exist too is we also try to educate the youth on the Honor Guards and what roles they play for military funerals and why it's so important today. And so a little background on myself, as we were talking earlier before the show started, I literally have been in the funeral industry all my life. And I started out as a grave digger. And I just knew as I was a grave digger that I just wanted to do more. And so I went to college and got my degree and became a funeral director. And then my family, we own and operate funeral homes in Illinois, Indiana, and Arizona. I'm chief operating officer. And I ran the funeral home operations, but we also manufacture products for the funeral industry, like burial vaults and headstones. And with that being said, Operation Honor Guard is something I started, and it started to take a lot of my time. And I have my sons and my sister that are in our businesses. And I just came to them one day and said, hey, what would you think if this old guy retired? And, of course, my sons were like, well, it's about time. And so they have taken over and are running our funeral operations. And it's given me time to run and take Operation Honor Guard to new levels. To kind of let you know and let the viewers and listeners know how this all started, of course, being a funeral director, I was at a cemetery in August of 2013, and it was hot. The sun was shining. For some odd reason, I wore a black suit that day. I remember that. And I was soaking wet with sweat. I could feel the inside of my jacket was just soaked. I could feel the sweat dripping down my back at the cemetery. And then I looked to my left, and there stood our local Honor Guard at attention. And it was a group of men and women, and they were in their 70s, 80s, and 90s. And they had sweat dripping down their brows, down their cheeks. But they weren't having that miserable feeling. They weren't feeling sorry for themselves. They were standing with pride. And I just had this aha moment as I looked at them, and I noticed that they had these blue blazers on, and they were kind of tattered and worn. And I found out later that those were hand-me-downs from our local courthouse bailiffs. And they all had gray pants on, which was wonderful. They kind of all matched. But then again, you looked at the gray pants and they all had different shades of gray on. So it just wasn't that look that, that veteran deserved. So after that service, I called up our local Honor Guard and said, hey, I would love to get together with you and figure out how we can support you financially. And first of all, I was met with resistance. They're proud. They're like, oh, no, we raise our own money. Everything's fine. And I asked them, I said, well, how about your uniforms? What do you think of your uniforms? And then the heads dropped down and they're like, yeah, we could use some help with uniforms. And so from that point, we kind of came up with the idea that we would stand at some street corners in our town with Honor Guard members. We stood outside of a local Walmart, and we raised for the very first year, we raised $5,000. People coming up and dropping money in buckets, which I thought was phenomenal. I kind of had planned on maybe $1,000 or $1,500, but it was $5,000. And I thought, wow, maybe we're onto something. And so I had a local TV station call me and said, hey, we've heard what you're doing, and we like this. We like this story. We want to help. The general manager of the TV station, his name's Kobe Cooper. He's now a member of our board of directors. He said, my dad died, and we had the Honor Guard there, and this just tugs on my heart, and this resonates with me. So they said, we want to have your organization be our nonprofit for our Day of Giving telethon. And I was like, what's a Day of Giving telethon? And they said, well, what we do is we go on air for 13 hours and we raise money. And so that has been phenomenal. So we, each year we still partner with the TV station. Kobe has since retired. And we host this telethon, and we have collection sites all throughout the East Central Illinois. And on a given day, we'll raise about $150,000.
Wow. Yeah,
so
it's a phenomenal impact that you're having. For those not in the know, what is an Honor Guard?
Oh, absolutely. I guess I should say that as well. Honor Guard are the men and women. So when you go to the cemetery and you have a veteran, and it is the military individuals with their uniforms that will fold the flag, play taps, and present the flag to the family, and of course the firing party that fires off the volleys. A little tidbit for everyone: a military funeral does not have a 21 gun salute. That's used for other reasons. So it basically there's a firing party, usually consisting of 6 or 7 Honor Guard members, and they will fire off 3 rounds, and so the firing party fires off. So there isn't a 21 gun salute.
There's ceremony, there's ritual baked into it. What does it mean for the military members in uniform, do you think, to do this for their fallen?
And I guess this goes 2 ways. For the Honor Guard members, for the individuals that are putting in hundreds of hours of volunteer work in a year, to them, this is a final send-off to their fallen brother or sister. To them, it is we want to make sure this is done right. This is the last thing we can do as veterans to say, hey, thank you for your service. Taking this a step further, Matthew, for the families, for the grieving widows, for the children, this is that proud moment. Dad served, Grandpa served, and we're going to walk away from the cemetery knowing that we honored him, and we honored him correctly. And there's one thing I always say is oftentimes I've talked to people and say, did you have military rights for your grandpa? And they said, oh no, when the bugler plays the taps, we just couldn't handle that. And that's sad because honestly, at the time at the cemetery when the bugler does play taps, these tears just flow. And at that point in time during the funeral service, that is a release. And I'm a strong and firm believer that is the beginning of the healthy grieving process for a family, is to get that release and to have that flow.
Do you get the chance to attend many of these ceremonies?
And of course too, so I was a licensed funeral director for almost 40 years. I've been to hundreds of military funerals. And to
Yeah.
see just the pride that the honor guard members possess, and to see the comfort that the families have,
Yeah.
as they walk away with each military, funeral honors ceremony, a flag is presented to a family member. And I always watch this, and these flags are handed, and then these family members hold this flag over their heart, and it stays there. And I will watch them hold this and be talking at the graveside 10 or 15 minutes after the service and still holding that flag. And so to me, I feel that they're embracing that that flag is like their actual loved one, and there's love right there. And so that's just awesome.
Is there a service that sticks out to you that particularly impacted you that you recall?
A military service.
Yeah.
Um, I would say, I'll be quite honest with you, each and every one does. Each and every one is a bit different. I guess the ones that impact me the most are the ones where there's big families. There's just something about that, and to watch them come together, as those military honors are being held, and not and as now as I'm talking, and I just kind of thought there was one service that I guess it was the term is incredible, because when we arrived to the cemetery, the clouds opened and it just burst rain. And we had military honors in a torrential downpour with lightning strikes within yards of us. And so I guess that one is the one that really stuck to me, because to see the sacrifice that these gentlemen are holding guns with lightning strikes, and to still honor this individual, and to do it was just amazing to me. So that one, I guess, was unique, and it did strike me as something that I'll never forget.
No kidding.
I mean, and it was to the point where the lightning strikes were so close, the hair would stand up on your arms. You could feel it coming.
Wow.
Yeah. So
and yet
that was
continued.
Yes, and they continued.
Yeah,
they continued.
What do the members of the honor guard? What kind of training are they doing to kind of learn the ceremony and the ritual?
Sure. So one thing that I have noticed and I've seen throughout my travels, with Operation Honor Guard, is a lot of these individuals have been doing this. These honor guard members have been doing it for 10, 15, 20. Some of my local honor guard members, I've been field directing for 30, 37, 38 years. They've been there with me the whole time.
Wow.
And so their training often comes from as new members join on, the older fellows will be there to walk them through this, talk them through this, making sure that they're doing it correctly. That is something that I truly want to, as Operation Honor Guard, expand on. I want to try to become a resource for training, especially when new honor guards are coming in. On our website, operationhonorguard.us, we are having honor guards register, and they're getting access to go in, and I'm having some articles in there that they can read. For example, how to have your firing party fire all at the same time.
Right.
It's hard as we get older. I'm not the same guy at age 60 that I was at age 30. And so to get people in their 80s and 90s and get them all to pull the trigger at the same time is difficult. So if we can help and to help training, I want to be that resource. I can envision down the road possibly having a conference, in different areas over, around, and if donations will help, we can bring in, there are experts throughout the country that will come in and train. And, I want to do that because these veterans are giving of their time, and let's make them do this the best that they can do it.
Let's talk about that impact, because I think your growth story is so inspiring. Started at a street corner level, doing telethons, Now you have impact across the nation.
We are. So we have started
Yeah.
out, in the very beginning, we were
Yeah.
local. I was Central Illinois. We have had fundraisers in Illinois, Indiana, um, Colorado, Ohio, Michigan, Washington.
Okay.
And so we are going to become national. Our board of directors, we had, our last meeting, we said it's time for Operation Honor Guard to take the training wheels off. And we're going to really, take this and to grow it. We're in the talks right now, getting a attorney versed on nonprofits, and we're trying to come up with an affiliate or chapter model to grow this. I am so proud. Monday of this week,
Yeah.
I was interviewed on News Nation.
Yes.
On national news, about Operation Honor Guard. So that was my dream. My dream was to be able to, to take this organization and get this message out. And then I have been telling my story for a decade,
Yeah.
but I've been telling it on local radio.
Yeah.
I've been telling it on local TV stations, local podcasts, and to get national exposure now. This is what we need. I need this launch, and we have to become national because the need is too great.
Your family must also be so inspired by this. They must be so proud of the work that you're doing.
It was funny. I made a social media post on my Facebook, and that hey, News Nation is going to be interviewing me, and one of my sons just answered, just a beautiful post saying, Dad, I'm so proud of you, what you're doing, and I will let you know that they all help me. They're when we have our days of giving, when we have, when we host our telethon, they're all working collection sites. My oldest son, Ethan, just joined our board of directors. He's becoming our vice president. Being in the funeral industry, I know, and my family knows, that you always have to make sure you have a continuity plan. So I'm setting up my son, Ethan, to be the next Rich Darby down the road. And so he has joined our board of directors. He's starting to learn this and take on the reins. And I will let you know too that something that's phenomenal. He's doing this, and he's battling cancer right now, and he's still, But this is the pride that he has, and he's continuing on with this. And as he's feeling good, and there is treatments and things, he still works for these veterans.
Yeah. It sounds like the Darby family is unstoppable.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's kind of funny. And we use with my son, with him battling the cancer, #Darby Strong.
You have me welling up here.
I'm sorry.
Forgive me. You're making this national impact. What kind of keeps you going? And, there must be some hard times, hard spots.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What keeps me going are the daily emails. I get emails from across the country of honor guards reaching out to me saying, "Hey, we didn't realize your organization existed.
Wow.
We're hurting for money. Can you send us a check?"
Yeah.
And my resources are only so great, at the local levels. And so reaching out now, nationally, and it's tough to ask for money, but I'm sorry, we need to, we have to fund these organizations, to fund these honor guard members. Years ago, back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, when the American Legion posts and the VFW posts had members galore, and they were all paying their dues, they were flooded with cash, and it was wonderful. But now these members are, becoming ill. They stop paying their dues. They pass away. They stop paying their dues, and a lot of the younger veterans aren't joining, the posts. And so they're calling me and they're emailing me and saying, "Hey, we're financially hurting. We need your help." And so what drives me is the, I want to be able to fund every honor guard, every veteran service organization honor guard in the United States. And Matthew, that's going to take $100 million to do. And then once we do that, and we fund all the honor guards, and they wear uniforms over and over and over again, and they wear out. We're going to have to turn around and raise 100 million more and fund them again.
Well,
and so that's my driving component is the need.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's them reaching out. It's them asking. And, these individuals, they served our country, and, they did their time, and they came back home, and, a lot of them could have easily sat on their couch, did nothing, but they've chosen not to do that. They've chosen to go out and rain, sleet, snow, hail, lightning, hot, cold. And so, their continued, service to our country. They shouldn't have to fight for finances. They shouldn't have to worry about finances. And, I'm hoping, as we reach out nationally and speak nationally, that our country will understand this and step up to the plate and help.
Yeah, I think they will. And if there's any family that will see the mission through, it's the Darby family, I think. And
yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I think as well, turning towards the future and how our listeners and audience can support the mission. There is the database that you're building. Do you have any programs, any initiatives happening this year or next that you're excited about that you wanted to share?
Yeah, exactly. You just hit it on the head. And first of all, we'll put this out there. May 14th is our annual day of giving. So, that's anybody who wants to hop on May 14th and donate, that would be fantastic. But yes, I have noticed lately that my emails are not only honor guards reaching out for, money. I'm getting emails from funeral directors. Hey, I'm looking for an honor guard in, Alaska. Somebody is flying with their dad's remains, and they're going to have a service, out there with his cremated remains. And, is there an honor guard out there? I'm having grieving families get a hold of me and calling me up before they even go into the funeral home to make funeral arrangements and say, hey, we want military honors. Who's the honor guard in our area? And then just the other day, I received a phone call from a professional soccer team. And for the national anthem, they wanted to have an honor guard there to present the colors. And so we are becoming a resource now where people are reaching out and how do we find honor guards? And I thought, what a better way than for us to put together a national database and then have a map on our website with pins. And then, if you're looking in your area, you just click on it and up pops the honor guard. It will list the name of the honor guard and have 2 points of contact for you. And so, that's our biggest initiative. And I will tell you, this is a huge initiative. There are roughly 10,000 veteran honor guards in the United States. And so to populate that, it's going to take some time. And so, so anybody listening today, if you are an honor guard member, talk to your honor guard commander, go to operationhonorguard.us and register. What that does is a couple of things. That puts you on the map, that gets you in the database. People will know that you exist, but also I know you exist. And as donations come in, and hopefully I can get some large corporations coming on to help me with this. And as my pool of money starts to grow, I can then reach out and start sending out emails to areas and say, hey, grants are open now. Reach out to us. We can write you checks. And so, having that is just a huge task to have to do, but the hours that we're going to put in behind it, it's going to be well worth it.
I understand there's something like 10,000 honor guards across the United States. How much does it cost to outfit an honor guard?
So most honor guards will consist of about a dozen honor guard members. And to outfit one honor guard member is roughly about $1,000. And so you can figure $12,000 to outfit just one honor guard. And so and that's on the low end. You start talking rifles and you start talking about rain gear and all of that, you can easily get to almost double that figure. So if an honor guard would get a check for $20,000, that would do them well.
all the materials. So you're talking about, the folded flag. How many flags do you think a typical honor guard is doing? And each flag is a ceremony, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So what is nice is that our government provides for each veteran a flag, and so and the unique thing is, as I'm putting together our national database, I have honor guards. Some honor guards will do 10 funerals a year. I have other honor guards. I have one that just came on last week, and I think they did 384 funerals in a year. So again, but those are massive. That honor guard probably has 40 or 50 members.
Yeah.
And so, but that's 40 or 50 uniforms.
Yeah. Yeah. The scale of the operation is, it's mind-boggling.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah. It's just, if you go to think about it and you're just rolling, that's when I throw that $100 million figure out there. It's true. It's a true figure.
Rich, besides your website, what are your social media channels, if you could?
The one that we utilize the most is our Facebook page, and that is @HonorVets.
Perfect. Easy to remember. Honor Vets. Great. Rich, I want to thank you so much for joining the show today. I'm so inspired by how you got started, where it's gone, and where it's going to go. We're cheering you on. We're really big fans of what you're doing. And for all our listeners, please do check out their website. We'll post that in the show notes. And Rich, it's such a pleasure to help do our little part to help spread the message. It's an inspiration.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Story Behind the Stone is available on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on the Wreaths Across America radio network, on iHeartRadio, Audacity, and TuneIn. Just search for Wreath. We air every Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern on the Wreaths Across Radio Network. Thank you for tuning in.